everybody to today's session. I'd just like to make a small announcement before we start. So we have started our quizzes and slogan competitions, so you can check the alerts to enter your responses and win some exciting prizes. Okay. So welcome everybody. The session starting now is digital transformation. How can you participate? Our speaker for this session is Miss Misha Joshi. She is the head of professional services at VMware in India. She leads a team of experts that help CIOs and their companies accelerate IT and business transformation while deepening their understanding of cloud computing. Misha Joshi is a seasoned business leader with 21 years of experience in global and local Indian organizations across management, sales, business development, IT, and customer experience. She has also been recognized for her initiatives in go-to-market strategies, growing sales, enhancing profits, and developing new products. Prior to VMware, she has worked with Infosys, IBM, Syntel, Fujitsu, and Vodafone. Ms. Joshi is an active member of Women in Technology forums and an advocate for diversity in thought, gender, and demography at the workplace. Ms. Joshi, it's an honor to have you with us, and without any further ado, I request you to take it over from here.
Thank you, Devina. Good morning, everybody. And it's wonderful to see a bunch of people spend their Sunday in understanding a whole bunch of new things that I'm sure will make you and your friends and family the unstoppable woman that Say Cheese is trying to make people. So the topic that I've picked for today is digital transformation and how you can participate. Since Devina has already introduced me, just like to say that as part of my day job, I also like to inspire more women in technology. And that's where I think that everyone has a role to play. This isn't something that's going to happen if just the IT team comes and says, hey, we are going to do digital transformation. And I think considering the varied audience that we have today, it's my pleasure to talk to each of you about this. So we can move on to the next slide. And the next one. I thought, let's talk about firstly, why do we need digital transformation, right? It's because we all need it, because we all use it, because it helps the business, and because all of us can. And why do I say that? I say that because, each and every one of us use mobile apps today. I'm sure everybody does online shopping. I'm sure each of you order food, order groceries online, and all of you use either apps or the mobile sites to be able to go and make those purchases. And you'd see the magic that it has brought to the table. COVID-19 has taught all of us new ways of doing things. And even if you weren't doing this before, you are definitely doing it now. But simply going ahead and making these platforms available isn't enough. It's important that everybody participate. So if we move to the next slide, I want to talk about, how each of us play a role. There is a need. There is a use that each of us have, right? And it's a combination of how we manage the business health as well as the business growth. Now, I know that each of you do run businesses of different kinds. You may be running the business or you may be participating in it. But it's important that you are focusing on both business health and business growth. Because business growth is what keeps the business running, and business health is important to make sure that the company is making the relevant profit margins. It's a combination of which way the business goes for you to be able to make a difference. Now, when it comes to digital transformation, you have business growth that may contribute to how the company is going to market and how you're driving more products in the hands of the consumers. So the objectives can be different. You could have market leadership as an objective. You could have having a future fit business as the objective, a go-to-market strategy that is important to be able to retain that market leadership, or the user experience which drives it. If you look at it, the mobile phone is in the hand of every single user that you have. And as we roll out digital transformation initiatives, we also realize that the users are also holding in their hands what is the fate of the organization that is giving that is rolling out the app that is being used. For example, do you like Amazon's shopping app better than Mintra's, or do you like Zomato better than Swiggy, and so on? And so it's very important that these objectives are kept in mind to be able to understand the need. As well as if you look at the business health side of it, what are the objectives? There's organizational change that will come along with market leadership. If we look at fintech for a moment, banks today are rolling out adjacent services that may be enabled by their partners or their alliances. And fintech companies are doing that much faster than larger banks are doing it. So what is important? It is important for the ICICIs of the world, the IndusInds of the world, the SBIs of the world to be able to catch up with fintech so that they're not losing out on their customer base and they remain sticky to the business. But if you want to come back to how you want to make this happen, it's not going to happen without organizational change. It's not going to happen if we don't understand what needs to change for us to be able to make those initiatives happen. So, if you want to use a mobile app to be able to give a loan to somebody, you want to be able to do any KYC right from the phone. You want to be able to have an underlying application and an underlying infrastructure to be able to manage that. And everybody in IT and in the business, so you may be working in the loans department of the bank, for example, it is for you to make sure that that initiative is successful, that it becomes automated, that it becomes digital in nature, because without that, you're going to find it very difficult to be able to compete with the fintechs. And so you might need to think differently in terms of what kind of a process you want. You might need to work differently in terms of what comes back to you. And you might need to provide those inputs back into the IT, because they're going to come and ask you, and you need to be able to provide that expertise and that guidance to them. The next thing in terms of business health is operational efficiencies. And so sooner or later, every purchase, every initiative that you want to make is going to be asked for giving back some money into the business. The CFO always questions, why is it that we are making this change? What is the benefit that the company will get, and will we reduce some cost as a result of it? Similarly, there may be investments to be made on the technology as well as the people side of the business. But I always like to say that, when it's digital transformation, choose a business growth initiative, because it always comes back to help the business health. And how do we do it at VMware? So just a little bit about VMware. We deliver software products that form the foundation of digital transformation for both the infrastructure administrators as well as the application developers. And so all of this software basically enables what you see on the right hand side, uh, any any conundrum, as we like to call it. So any user using any device to access any application that sits on any cloud. And so you must have heard of the AWS or Google Cloud, or even private clouds that companies have. And VMware's software basically powers up all of these to make sure that there is easy access of an application. One good example is AirMeet that we're using right now. It requires to be able to provision the right kind of bandwidth that the application needs to work, that I need to be able to make my presentation, you need to be able to see and hear me, and so on. And so it's important to be able to anticipate what is the customer need, who are your users, what do you need as employees, and then optimize the operations to be able to dramatically increase that go-to-market speed that I've been talking about. And finally, it's also important to ensure that there is a strengthened security, which, as VMware likes to call it, is consumer simple but enterprise secure, so that you don't make your systems vulnerable to cybersecurity threats. Can we move on to the next slide, please? And so what can women do here? The photographs here are not my copyright. They're what I picked up from the net. I think, like I said before, COVID-19 taught a lot of us how to be innovative in how we work. So this is probably photographs of teachers who figured out how to point their camera in a place and how to be able to continue to teach students. I must say it's a really difficult job. Give it a shot if you haven't tried teaching somebody online on video. It is very, very tough to keep the students engaged and to be able to make sense out of what you're trying to put out there. But women have the natural adaptability to learn. And by nature, just by the culture in India, we end up giving a lot more than we take, right? If you move on to the next slide, I have an example of my own team. Before COVID-19, we used to work in the office. So what you see on the top there is a nice, happy photo of people coming together on Diwali, kind of making it a traditional day and collaborating together. And the same team, once we head into the lockdown, ended up taking their work home and working from home. Now, while VMware is a company that produces software for digital transformation, we saw all of our customers doing the same as well. So we worked, we celebrated, we did everything online, and it's just another example of why we need transformation and why each of us needs to be invested in the game. So we move on to the next slide. So here's my take on it, right? What do all of us do as individuals to be able to contribute? And how do we do it at VMware? So I've created this little LUDO model, as I like to call it, which is again not my copyright as a word. I just think it's very easy to remember. So the first one is learn. It's the whole tech for non-tech, like you hear finance for non-finance professionals. I think if you are in the tech world, well and good. If you're not in the tech world, then it's important for us to go and learn what's digital transformation. There are huge number of courses out there in the market. Pick up one that suits your sensibilities and go through the basics of digital transformation. Understand what it needs for you in your role to be able to make a contribution. The second one is use. So, as they like to say, use it or lose it. Now, if you learned something, you need to use your skills. So, for example, if you participated in organizing an event and figured out how to choose technology for the event in that situation, then go figure out how you're going to use the skills that you picked up from here for something else. How do you contribute back into your business? The third one is DED for design or demand. So here is where you learned how to use it. You're trying not to lose it, and then you want to put to use your learnings, right? So either get involved in the design of digital transformation happening for your company or your function, or demand for it if you're not in that role, right? Go and ask for a better way of doing things. So, for example, if you're in talent acquisition, you don't have any option nowadays but to do interviews on video based platforms. But what is it that you want in that? Right? Do you want to just see the person? Do you want to start talking to them? Do you want to record the conversation? What is it that you want to do? Do you want nowadays there are options of live translations as well when you're working in multi geography scenarios. If you're on marketing, what are the search engine optimization tools that you're using? What kind of social tools you want to use? If you're in hospital management, what is it that will make your life simpler? Or what is it that will make your internal or external customers' lives simpler? If you're working for an airport, if you're working for finance, if you're working for HR, whether you're working for sales, look at how you will improve the productivity of your employees so that you can do more with the same number of employees, or you can do better jobs with these, with the tools that you have. You look at education, you need to think about what's the education technology you're using, what are the tools you're using, can they be better, do you have ideas to make them better, do you have suggestions to be able to pass on to your team? So what are we doing at VMware to be able to enable this conversation? We have a beautiful upskilling program, which is called VM Inclusion Tara. VM Inclusion is our diversity and inclusion initiative. At VMware, we believe that it's important for business to be able to drive diversity and inclusion initiatives. It's not just an HR or a diversity and inclusion team's job. It's important for everybody to get involved. And so we came up with this ambitious program where we want to train 15,000 women in VMware technologies for free. This is for people them back to work. So the first thing that is needed is to be able to upskill them so that they have the right skills to be able to find jobs for themselves or become successful in whatever they are doing. You need to be on a career break for around 6 months and an Indian citizen, and that's about it. And we have seen that we have people who are from a non-tech background also take up these skills and return to their non-tech function, and they are able to contribute so much better through these trainings. Of course, they train you on VMware products, but they also take you through a whole series of functional and non-functional sessions. You have access to a umpteen number of webinars in the Tara program that help you how to build up your resume and to do a bunch of stuff with that. We have the return to work program, which is Nakshatra, where we have on-the-job training and internship provided to women who are returning to work again. And they get 6 months of on-the-job training and a work experience certificate as a result of that. And finally, we have Nirman, which is our year-long initiative where we pull together all of our diversity and inclusion initiatives, provide inspiration for more women to stay in the workforce, continue to contribute, and also return to the workforce. And a lot of educational things. So offer, go back and offer to help to do something. Can we move on to the next slide, please, Aman?
So,
and I'll just close by saying, right, don't just sit back and wait. Do something about it, participate or lead digital transformation, and don't struggle alone. As women, we tend to think that we know how to do everything, right? Please ask for help when you need it. So on that note, if we have time, I can open up for questions. If you
thanks,
want to
Misha. So we are just a minute over, so but we'll take one question. So we have a question from Geetika from at eBay. How can we join this program? Kindly share the procedure.
Okay, not sure which program you're speaking about, Geetika, but if it is
the previous slide,
is it for Tara? Yeah, you can go to vmware.com, or you can even search for VM Inclusion Tara. You will be routed to the site. If I'm not wrong, it's vmware.com/Tara. And you'll be able to find all the information that you require over there.
Okay, thanks,
Or
Misha.
you can look up my LinkedIn profile and you'll find Tara information out there, and you can reach out to Sita, who's the Tara program manager.
Sure. Thanks a lot. So there seems to be a lot of interest in that program. We got one more question on that. So that's a great initiative. Thanks a lot, Misha.
Give me a moment. Let me just quickly confirm to you the site, and you can just you can post that in the chat window. Just give me one moment.
Yeah.
Yes, here it is. Actually, I'll just paste it in the chat window for you. And I'm sure, where do I put it? Just in the chat window?
In the chat window, yes.
I just did. So thank you. That's interesting. And it's a very, very useful program. Trust me. So, a lot of people, we have had more than 9,500 people benefit from this program.
Okay, that's great to hear. Thanks a lot, Misha. So those who have not seen, go to the chat. You will see the link, basically vmware.com/Tara. So thanks a lot, Misha, for coming and sharing about digital transformation, which is all happening around us. So it's better to participate, like you said, use or lose. So I'm sure everybody would take that message away and do something to learn about digital transformation and be a part of this next wave.
Thanks you so much. And as per the theme of the International Women's Day, Choose to Challenge, please do something about it. Yes. And thank you so much to the entire team.
Thank you so much, Misha. Thanks, everyone. So we are moving to the next panel discussion now. So we'll be ending this session. You will see an alert. Click on join session to join the next panel, or go to sessions and join the next panel discussion. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Misha, once again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.